So, hi, Caitlin. Thank you for joining, which I think is Sunday evening for me and Sunday daytime for you.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm Caitlin Tyson, Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2018. I'm an actress, model, a writer. I'm also a trained yoga instructor. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Just a little bit. I mean,
Just a little bit.
it sounds like you have a lot going on. Which is
Yeah.
exciting. I just wanted to get to know a little bit about your pageant experience and obviously your reign as Miss Cayman Islands in 2018. So
Yeah.
yeah, how did you kind of start that journey and how did you find it?
Well, I've always been inspired by the queens. I think, like just growing up and seeing the national queens from your pageant, like you just look up to them and stuff. And I think it was the year of Monique Brooks. Just seeing like a dark skinned Miss Cayman Islands was like really inspiring. I'm like, oh man, like I would love to do that. And so it's always been something in my mind. I was living in New York for a few years, almost 4 years, acting and modeling, and it got to be, just it was just a lot of high energy and high pressure situation. And like I said to you earlier, it was very like me centered, just like this hustle and the grind. And I just wanted to come home. I missed my home. I missed my people, and I also missed that part of me that was really just in tune with service and giving back. Like I've always, my mom was she's a social worker, and she just lived like a life of service, so I've always seen that. And I was always a part of like Key Club and always just trying to be a part of the community. So that was a huge part that was missing from my life. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity and time, depending on my age and my stage in life. Like I'm going to go into this, and so that's where I entered into the journey. And I was so excited. I mean, because I won,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was so like, yeah. And then it's just like this like whirlwind of an experience, but it was amazing.
Yeah, and that's yeah, sounds like an incredible sort of journey that you've been on. So when obviously you entered, what
Mhm.
was your sort of platform that you used and promoted through your sort of pageant experience?
Well, I had a really deep personal connection with the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands. And so finding out that our organization was also promoting that charity was just, it just fell right into place. My grandfather was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a few years ago, and so my grandmother became the primary caregiver, and just the toll that it took on the whole family, it's something that doesn't get spoken a lot about. And so I was really happy to be able to spread awareness with that. I'm also natural hair diva, and so I've always been an advocate for self-love. And it took me a while to really embrace my natural hair and my natural beauty as a Black woman, and to celebrate that in a way that I didn't see being celebrated in the media growing up. But thankfully, my mom always kept us very, not, I don't want to say closed off, but she knew that what happened in the house would translate in our lives. So she made sure that I was always just very confident in who I was. Her being a lighter skinned woman, knowing that her Black children got to know how to love themselves and take care of themselves in this world. So when I decided to cut all my hair off, I got so many messages from girls in Cayman, just like, you're so inspiring to me, and I wish I could do that. And how do you take care of your hair and everything? So like I started that kind of initiative on my own, with just like, making sure that our people know that it's okay to be who we are naturally. It is just as beautiful and dynamic and just as valid as anything else.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
so good to hear that. I think actually it was probably about 18 months ago that I decided to sort of go on my natural journey. And
Oh,
it's one that you definitely kind of, you like having people on the similar situation to you to kind of help you through that, because yeah, learning about your hair from almost from scratch is yeah, an interest.
yeah. And everyone's like, oh, but it's gonna be so difficult, and all these excuses that we make. And it's like, but everyone has their process. Everyone, whether their hair is straight, wavy, or curly, everybody has a process to get ready.
Yeah.
There hasn't been much focus and experimentation done with our hair. So, you know, we don't have like crimping irons and dry shampoos and all this stuff that are tailored towards one hair type. So we kind of have to figure it out as we're going on. But there's this huge community that is just like a wealth of knowledge right now that's so amazing. And as we've seen with companies realizing that there's a lot of money in Black natural hair. So you see the products are getting better. We're getting little, you know, braiding tools and stuff. I think, listen, we're about to be in the future like hands-free braiding.
Yes. Just sit there and there's a machine that does it all for you.
Yes. What do you want, knotless or box braids? Like,
there's a little entrepreneur sort of project there. Oh, cool. And I guess, so obviously, so I was born in the Cayman Islands, but moved to the UK when I was a baby. So hence competing as Miss Caribbean UK currently. But I went back and connected with the island when I was young, and with my family that are there. So I guess I'm intrigued to know what your favourite part or parts of the island are, or things about the Cayman Islands that sort of speak home to you.
Yeah, it's funny, like where you grow up, like where your home is. I find like when you're young, those things about it are the things that you hate, and then as you grow up, you're like, oh man, there's no place like home. So like just like the energy and like just being so much slow paced, and you know, no one's in a rush, and if someone's there like 15-30 minutes late, we're all like, yeah, that was expected. Whereas like going to New York, it was like, you know, I got into that, like, listen, I gotta be 10 minutes early, because if I'm 10 minutes late, they're gonna find someone to replace me.
So, quite similar to London in that sense, New York.
Yeah, that like big city kind of energy. It's like there's, you know, it's always like you're a dime a dozen. Like, come on, like, so getting to come back home and like slow down again. Like my energy was like crazy, because I'm like making appointments and meetings, and I'm like, why are people not responding to their emails? It's, you know, it's like because it's Thursday afternoon. Like no one cares.
Like clock watching, and they're just like chilling on the beach, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, I know you have your phone on you, answer your email. But that's one of the things I really have grown to appreciate. Also the food is amazing. Like I missed like cooked food in the way that we know it, like cooked food, you know. So like that plate of brown where it's just like oxtail and rice and beans and plantain, and I just missed that. Like, and you can get it at any restaurant, and it's just like, it feels like a homemade dish, you know, like someone's mama's in the kitchen making that food. So I miss that so much. It's just like so warm. And it's weird because when I went to New York, I moved all over. I was in Astoria, so I was in Queens, and then I was in Brooklyn. And what I loved about Brooklyn is that there's a lot of Caribbean people there. So they'll actually like say hi to you on the street, you know, and it felt more like a community. And like that, I was like, oh, it's because there's a lot of Caribbean people. Like, oh, I love that. So that's one of the things I loved here too, is like, you know, we still have that sense of like community, and we smile at each other, and we'll hail each other up on the road and stuff. So those are a little bit of my favorite things.
Yeah. And that sense of community is so important. It makes a difference. I think, yeah, comparing it probably London and New York, a lot of people you see on the tube, they have their newspapers, and it's like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, like you're on your own sometimes, you know, and it's like you're surrounded by so many people, but you can feel really lonely. And you don't know who you can talk to. You don't know who's might be a little crazy, you know, who's like, you know, you don't know where anyone's coming from either. So that was like really scary for me in the beginning. I mean, I think I got hit on the train by this crazy guy one time. I was coming from my yoga class, and it was like 11:30 p.m. because I was doing my yoga teacher training. And so I'm sitting on the train, and he like hits me because he's like going crazy. And I'm looking at everyone on the train like, who's gonna help me? And they just did like the New York look, like,
you're on your own, man.
It's too late. Like if it gets any worse, we'll jump in, but just deal with it. I was like, oh dang it, okay. And
so you come out with thick skin when you've lived in a big city. Yeah, going back to your food comment, I think, I can definitely relate. The Caribbean food is definitely good for the soul. I think. And
the hips and the thighs.
Yeah. You definitely have to have the balance with exercise when you're. What else would you say in Cayman is something that you feel quite close to your heart in terms of the areas in particular on the island, or you know, sort of, obviously there's such beautiful nature there, whether it's
Mhm.
sort of the sea life or the beautiful beaches and things like that. Is there a particular spot that's, you know, quite close to your heart?
Yeah, well, where you were sitting before, Spots Beach was behind you, the picture. Like, that's my favorite beach, actually. And I don't
Okay.
know if it's because I'm from Savannah, like Town area. Like, I love Spots Beach. Um, what I really like is actually like the far side, the north side of the island,
Mhm.
because it just is so quiet and almost untouched. Because we on like the west side, you know, Georgetown, like the central areas, it's just becoming so developed, and tourism is our biggest industry. So, you know, there's condos and hotels and more restaurants and shopping centers, and they're just popping up left and right. And so like it's just getting really developed and really busy. And so when we go down to like the north side, that's when we're like, oh, now I actually feel like I'm in Cayman. Like, it's calm, it's
Yeah.
quiet, you know, you're just really in touch with nature. You can just sit out there all day and read a book. You can do yoga, like just be with your friends and your family, jump in the water. It's just like that is what I love. And of course, you ever had the chance, I don't know if you've been to like Cayman Brac or Little Cayman as well.
And yeah.
Yeah, like Cayman Brac is like a little time capsule. I love it so much. It just feels like nothing has changed there. And it's like, I just love it so much. It's so small and oh my gosh, like I'm just getting like warm and fuzzy. Like, it's just so sweet. It just feels like what Cayman was in the past. So it's really nice to be able to like just take a little plane right over, and you're just in this completely different time. It just feels like if you time travel.
Like another universe. I think that's
Yeah.
it's really important though with Caribbean islands generally, because they are such a big tourist attraction, but you
Hmm.
know, holding on to that nature, you know, and the
Yeah.
real sort of authentic side of it, and you know, the homes, and you know, even the sort of natural shack style Caribbean houses, as opposed
Yeah.
to those sort of like built up, more Americanized sort of built
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, for me, even just like self love goes so much deeper than just, you know, your appearance, but like loving and appreciating, cherishing your own culture as well. And the people who came before you, it's so important because we need to be able to protect these areas
Mhm.
and preserve them. If you look at some of the older civilizations, they have done just that, and their culture and their art and everything has been able to thrive in such a way. And if you're trying to be something else, you will never be as good as the original of that thing, you know? Like, but if you're just being yourself, that's always best, you know? So the more that we try to appeal to a more Western and like upgraded sensibility, the more that we're gonna lose bits of ourselves that are really special. And that's why people come here. They come for Cayman, not to be in Miami,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
definitely. No, that's
Yeah.
100%. I completely agree. And I mean, one of my most favorite places was, I traveled to Little Cayman. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you've been to Owen's Island there before. And that is just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just paradise. So I guess for people listening, it's, you know, if you travel to Little Cayman, you can almost like kayak out to this just, you know, spot. It's almost like off a movie, you know, because it's
Hmm.
touched such a small little piece of land. There's nobody there, you know, unless you happen to catch somebody at the same time. But I mean, both times I've been there, there's been no one.
No one.
And yeah, you can just, you know, like lie in the water. It's so peaceful, it's so calm. And yeah, I think we actually found a starfish there once as well. And it's just,
Oh.
yeah, incredible place. Yeah. Yeah, it's so, you know, it's just, it's really important to kind of hold on to those places and not kind of yeah, get too caught up in the sort of westernized sort of builds up. You know, it's always going to be tough with travel and tourism and
Yeah.
shopping and that sort of thing. And I guess having been back to Cayman over different years, it kind of changes every time. So I remember going once where there was no Cayman Bay, and then all of a sudden there was Cayman Bay, there was
Hmm.
roads that were almost like motorways,
Yeah.
and the traffic has obviously become like a real big,
Crazy.
yeah, a
Hmm.
real big problem as well. So yeah, I guess how do you think that Caymanians have sort of responded to that and kind of found that recently?
Well, I don't know if you know about the recent development with the port that the government's been planning to build, I guess, since the 80s. And there's been a referendum, like people are not wanting the port because it's going to be so detrimental to our ocean life. And so that's really the first time I've seen like Caymanians collectively just like stand up for this, like no, we're not okay with this happening. Because I like 7 Mile Beach is completely different too. I don't know if you've been recently, and half the beach has been cut down and pushed back, and now it's just a huge parking lot. I'm like, why do we need a huge parking lot in front of the beach? So like, and we used to be able to just drive by it and you could always see the ocean. Like that's one of the things I also love about Cayman. You always just feel like you're on an island. You can always see the ocean. And now it's like condos just going up in all of these spaces. And it's like, we can't even see, and we won't even be able to go on those parts of the beach because they're going to be private. Yeah. They're going to block them off for the people living in those spaces. And I'm like, it's just taking away a lot of the heart of what this country is. And I don't know if people can really see it yet until it's all developed. Then it's going to be like, oh wait, what happened while we were busy working and going about our day to day? This has been happening and we're not okay with it. But at that point it might be too late. And I think because of living in New York and like a big city, I know for a fact that this can happen because I went to school and I worked in Manhattan, which is a little island, and you would never know it. You kind of feel like you're in this little rat race. Like I started to get kind of almost claustrophobic in New York because everywhere you go there's a building. Like this is like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm in an experiment. It's like yeah, it's like in these blocks and you're just like walking around. And so like when I came back home and I got to see like the horizon, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is what I've been missing. Like I felt so like trapped almost. And so that I can see that happening here, and it's really sad because that's really the part that I really love about Cayman. And I know all my people love it too, but I just think everyone is so busy with their day-to-day life. They're not really seeing it. But that's really why I'm an artist as well, because like you need people who are going to be thinking about creative ways to make a difference. Mm-hmm. I don't think that hotels are the only way to bring tourism into a country. I think art can speak for itself. I think that's a huge thing. Like millions of people go to Broadway every year because of the art and the experience that you can't get anywhere else. So I just hope that before it's too late, because we don't have that much land here. Yeah. I hope that we start to really think about that a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's hoping that happens before it's too late, because like you say, it's only a small island, and we kind of want to restore and hold on to that beauty in the nature, and I mean, I think that a lot of people, so I know coming from the UK, obviously, if I ever mention that I'm from the Cayman Islands, people are like, they look at me kind of confused because they're like, you mean the Canary Islands? And they kind of haven't heard of it. And then I said, when like,
are you telling me that the UK don't know that we're a British territory?
Well, exactly.
Wow.
There needs to be a little bit more education, because
wow.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's referenced in like series or films when they're talking about the tax.
We're hiding money.
Exactly.
The Caymans.
Yeah. So every time you watch something and I hear it, I'm like, oh, I get a bit excited, but it's like there's more to it than just the money side. So
yeah, and I think that's been a huge reason why the developments have happened like that, because it's like, oh, it's a money place, so people come here and they want to have this luxurious experience. It's like people are just like eating their food on the side of the road on the beach, with their friends. Like the fishermen are coming off the boat and they're like that's really what's happening here. And when I go to a country, what I love to do is see what the locals are doing. I want to eat what the locals are eating. I want to be immersed in the culture of it. And that's why I say like we just need to value our own culture, because we're putting up these like shiny white walls like, oh look, this is what it is. It's like, no, it's not. Let them come in and appreciate our culture. Let them have some fried fish and fritters. Let them go to Chef John's. Like,
yeah, you're making.
And people will be back.
Yeah, exactly. Then people will come back because it's like, I'm not going to get this anywhere else.
Exactly. But they can get the shot glasses and the tie-dye shirts from every Caribbean country.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm super excited to be representing the Cayman Islands in the Miss Caribbean UK competition. So I guess for me, it's asking you whether you think there's any key pieces of advice that you'd give based on your experience in your pageant journey.
Well, like you said, people are kind of confused when you say Cayman Islands. Not a lot of people know about it. We're very tiny, so just make sure that you're putting yourself out there. You're being confidently assertive and showing that people from the Cayman Islands are just as amazing and beautiful and well-traveled and educated and dynamic as anyone else. I think that's really important, and always showing how we lead with kindness here and we have that sense of community. It's a small place, but we are a mighty people and have a very rich culture. So,
yeah, definitely. I will take that on board. And tell me a little bit what you've got sort of upcoming. I know you've just been accepted to school. So,
yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell me about what sort of upcoming for you.
Well, I mean, 2020 has kind of pump the brakes on a lot of our plans. And so I've just been focusing on what's really important, which is me, my family, our health, and just taking it as it comes. I was able to join, to apply for the school that they're having a summer program online, which I'm like, okay, this is really good. At least I can do this. But I was planning to go back to New York or LA and get back into the swing of things with modeling and auditioning and acting and everything. And so now I'm just trying to find different avenues, stay positive. But yeah, I honestly right now can't say what's next. I just think taking it day by day is the best way to go right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that as well, the world is becoming so adaptable right now in this day and age, we have to be. But I do think, I mean, I don't know about how you found it your side, but the community and just like our neighbors, everyone's become so much more self-aware and kind, and just the community side is just unbelievable. And yeah, that's hopefully going to continue after the sort of coronavirus stuff dies down.
I hope so too. I think for a long time it's been just everyone just focusing on themselves and reaching your next goal, and now it's we all need to be okay in order for us to be able to do that. So it's not just you need to be okay, everyone needs to be okay, because this is affecting everyone globally. So I really do hope that we carry that sense of community through this, because it's really important. And I love that we can all stay connected with things like this. Yeah, it's really heartwarming, and to see how many people are offering free services like online trainings and meditations, and you're just taking a breath together over Zoom. It's just like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so we're hoping that it will continue, fingers crossed, sort of post lockdown as well. So yeah. So for anybody wanting to find out a little bit more about what you do and what you're up to, you have a YouTube channel, if I'm not correct?
I do, yeah. So I just started a YouTube channel beginning of this year, and it's you can find me at Caitlin Tyson on YouTube. I have some travel vlogs up there. I give some pageant advice because I do pageant coaching as well. And yeah, I'm doing makeup tutorials, anything that I love. I might get some acting and Broadway stuff because I'm such a Broadway nerd. And you're gonna find me on Instagram. It's Caitlin_Tyson. Facebook is Caitlin Tyson. You want to send me a message if you're interested in working together, or just want to ask a question if you're struggling with your natural hair or wanting to go natural or anything like that, you can send me a message at CaitlinTyson.com. And yeah, that's how you can get in touch with me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'll put obviously all the links and stuff in with the video as well. But thank you so much for your time today, Caitlin.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you in your future endeavors. And I'm sure that you're going to do well in your new schooling adventure as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Yes. I'll keep you updated. All right. Take care.
All right. You too.